In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 NBA teams that to me are the biggest question marks heading into this season. And this basically means I just don't know how good they will be. These are the 5 teams that to me have the biggest margin between their ceiling in terms of win totals and their floor. So a team like Milwaukee is not going to be on this list because everybody can agree they'll be pretty darn good. With these 5 teams, I'm not so sure. Before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. You guys probably already know what SeatGeek is, so I won't go over the overview of what it does. But instead, I want to talk to you about a new feature that SeatGeek just launched, which is the Daily Tap. Every day, you can log into SeatGeek and join the Daily Tap for free and enter a sort of lottery or a draw. And every day, SeatGeek is giving away thousands of dollars worth of tickets and discounts to your favorite events. And yes, it's completely free. So you're basically giving away a free chance at tickets if you're not going in every day. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, you can click the link down below or just go on the App Store, search up SeatGeek, download it. And if you're a first-time user, you can use my promo code MDJ for $20 off of your first purchase. All right, the first team on this list is the Brooklyn Nets. Now, on paper, this team looks really good, even without Kevin Durant. They have the talent and the depth to be a mid-50 win team. Now, Vegas odds only has them at 44 wins, and I actually think that's fair because there's a lot that can go wrong. The biggest issue being Kyrie Irving. His departure from the Celtics left many questions as to how coachable he is. Around Kyrie are the players who will have to adjust to playing alongside him, specifically Caris LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie. And then we have DeAndre Jordan, who based off of the way he played last season, looked like he was getting ready to retire. And what about defensively for this team? Last season, they were right around league average in defense, and there's no real reason to believe they'll be better. There is a scenario in which the Nets' chemistry doesn't click, they go on a losing streak, reports come out about Kyrie complaining in the locker room, and the Nets end up as a 500-ish team. Probably still good enough to make the playoffs in the East, but it would be a disappointing season. The second team on this list are the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, chemistry is the obvious question here. How will the Lakers run their offense? To what extent will people have to adjust their game? Will Kyle Kuzma be okay with sitting in the corner and watching Anthony Davis go ISO 10 times a game? How long will it take for LeBron and AD to develop pick and roll chemistry? How long until LeBron gives Frank Vogel the middle finger and just runs the offense himself? But the most unpredictable factor about the Lakers season to me is not actually their chemistry, it's actually just LeBron. How good is LeBron going to be? For the first time in forever, he actually got a lot of time off this summer to rest his body. Now, does this mean we're going to get one last big season from him? Will he play like the MVP? Will LeBron have the legs or the motivation to play defense? Because if he does all those things, this Lakers team can easily be a top 10 defensive team and maybe even a top 10 offensive team. Vegas odds has LA at 48 wins. Now, if things go well, LeBron and AD stay healthy, the Lakers could get to mid-50s. But as we've seen with LeBron teams in the past, it always takes him a little while to adjust to playing alongside new people, and usually they get off to slow starts. Happened his first year in Miami, it happened his first year in Cleveland, it happened last year, and with the addition of AD, I am treating this year's Los Angeles Lakers as a completely new team. The third team on this list are the Dallas Mavericks, and pretty much everything rests on Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis says he's healthy and he's ready to start the season, and he says he's 100%. That's actually a quote from him, but will he be? I mean, after all, it's been more than a year and a half since he's played in an NBA game. If Kristaps can be as good as he was his last season in New York, the Dallas Mavericks have a serious chance of making the playoffs in the West, which is not easy. It might take 47, 48 wins to do so in this Western Conference. Now, if things don't go well, most obvious of which is Kristaps misses significant time, but also if he just doesn't quite have the chemistry with Doncic yet, which he has acknowledged in an interview will take time, that could hinder things. Beyond that, the rest of the roster has some question marks. The scoring that Harrison Barnes provided was largely replaced by Tim Hardaway Jr., who did not play very well last season. Now, with a full offseason with training camp, maybe they figure out how to utilize him better. But there's a future out there where the Mavericks are just not much better than they were last season, which was around 33 wins. The fourth team on this list, the New Orleans Pelicans. I have absolutely no idea what to expect from this team because it is a brand new team. I'm a little higher on them than most people are. To me, if things work out with the Pelicans, they can be a dark horse to make the playoffs. There's a lot of stuff I like. Drew Holiday and Lonzo is a nasty defensive backcourt combo. JJ Redick is a perfect addition. They have shooting off the bench with Darius Miller and Etuan Moore. Derek Favors is a good signing. Brandon Ingram, maybe this new environment brings out the 20-point per game score in him. And all of this is not even mentioning Zion Williamson, who, although I don't think he will be very good his rookie year, I can still talk myself into the Pelicans being a 40+ win team. Now, the rational part of my brain is saying it's more likely they'll be worse. If the Pelicans don't start the season off well, a lot of their veterans are going to be on the trading block because after the massive haul of picks they got for the Anthony Davis trade, they're posed very well to rebuild. And if that happens, Jrue Holiday is probably going to request a trade and then everything is going to fall apart. They're going to start the young guys like Josh Hart and Jackson Hayes over to veterans like Darius Miller and Derek Favors, and that's going to make them a worse team. But if things go well and they try hard and they try to make the playoffs, they have a shot at. And the last team on this list is the Golden State Warriors. All the metrics surrounding Steph Curry these last few years shows that he'll be fine even without Kevin Durant and even without Klay Thompson. Giannis is and should be the runaway favorite to win MVP again, but I don't know how many players I would put ahead of Steph Curry. The Warriors are going to have to rely on him a lot this year, especially with Klay out. Now, D'Angelo Russell complicates things, to say the least. Having him and Steph is a really bad idea defensively, and maybe the Warriors can coax some league average defense out of Russell, but even that would be a bit of a miracle. Offensively, I think he'll be great. They'll stagger his minutes with Curry's, and he's going to put up numbers. Steve Kerr will run plays to get him open shots. He'll pull up from three on the fast break. That's all fine. So best case scenario, D'Angelo Russell loves it in Golden State, puts up numbers. Steph Curry has an MVP season. Draymond Green plays like it's 2016. Klay Thompson comes back mid-season from his ACL and gets pretty quickly back to 100%. And this Golden State team could win 50 games. Worst case scenario, their defense, which was already a little shaky last year, drops even lower as their best perimeter defender, Klay Thompson, misses games. Steph Curry and Draymond are both tired from 5 years of going to NBA Finals. And this is really the most concerning part. The Warriors have terrible depth. With Klay Thompson out, their fifth starter, or their fifth best player, is probably Alfonso McKinney. That's really, really bad. And it shows you how much they need Klay Thompson. And because of that, I would not be entirely surprised if they miss the playoffs. I would also not be surprised if come playoff time with Klay Thompson healthy, they make it to the NBA Finals again. I honestly cannot remember the last time a team could realistically miss the playoffs and make it to the NBA Finals, and that is why the Warriors, to me, are the hardest team to predict this upcoming season. I think this year, more so than any year we've seen, is really going to show how good of a coach Steve Kerr is. Because if he can take guys like Willie Cauley-Stein and Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson and Andrew Harrison and turn them into good rotation players, that's going to be a big testament to the Warriors system and to him as a coach. All right, well, those are my hardest NBA teams to predict. There were a couple other teams that almost made this list. The Sacramento Kings were a big choice for me. The Houston Rockets are kind of unpredictable. I even considered putting the Philadelphia 76ers because of all the weird chemistry stuff that they'll be going through. Anyways, I'm really excited for NBA season to start. These past 2 months for me and every other NBA YouTuber has been really dry because there's been no news to talk about. But once the season gets started, I can say this for me at least, I'll be uploading more frequently. So that's and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.